My name is Cameron, and I'm here today to talk to you about specialty music. It's music that often won't get played on commercial radio, and that's why many stations, including the ones watching or listening to this, play it and actually have a special provision built into their license specifying a quota of specialty music. Of course, many of us came to community radio because we wanted to play the kind of music we don't hear on commercial radio, and that includes classical, traditional folk, jazz, and so forth. And to make it even easier, Category 3 music has a lower Canadian content requirement than popular music. Not that this should stop you from playing Canadian jazz anytime soon. We'll learn more about Canadian content in another video. The first subcategory is concert, number 31. That is opera and classical music, and even orchestral soundtrack pieces. It's definitely music that would fall under Category 31. Now, number 32 is a little bit more complicated, but it's also a very familiar style of music on most community radio stations. It's been the most popular one after pop rock at all the stations I've ever volunteered at, and that is folk music. It includes genres like Americana, and of course Canadiana, bluegrass, plus traditional folk of all kinds, including pre-1950s country music. So you can play your Woody Guthrie all you want and know the classification number assigned by the CRTC. It's a little tricky to figure out the difference and the precise line between folk and folk rock. This is a clear case where if it sounds a little too rocky, put it in 21 if you're logging it, just to be sure. But it's also a place where community radio has a lot to offer. Ask another volunteer. The expertise of the music hosts at most of our stations can really make the difference here and can help sort out some truly confusing, well, things in between. Number 33 is a pretty broad category of music. It includes a world beat music, that is what pop music forms that draw heavily from the traditional music styles of countries throughout the world. It also includes music drawn from the popular folk and classical traditions of countries, aside from Canada, either in instrumental form or sung in languages, and this is a crucial one, other than English, French, or First Nations one. So I guess Japanese pop and Norwegian death metal actually would fall under this category. Now, number 34 is a very popular genre in community radio. I brought it up several times already in this little talk, and it's a big category. It has a lot of things in it. That's the wonderful jazz, the soulful blues, and actually pretty much all subgenres of those styles of music you could possibly think of would fall under number 34. So it's really quite an easy one to log, and it's a really great genre to listen to. Number 35 is pretty eumenical, because you see, hold on, just a minute, what? It's a religious joke. Number 35 is religious music. Why wouldn't ecumenical be a funny, okay, yeah, use smaller words, college boy, I got it. Magical, silent PA that only I can hear. Hey now, okay, sorry about the interruption, but this category is one that I don't see played very often, but it can demand some intervention. Okay, I'm really sorry. Anyway, so this is mostly religious music, from hymns to gospel to other music of various faith traditions. The one that I hear the most on the radio is gospel music, but it actually wouldn't include something like Handel, like classical religious themes. And then finally we have 36. That's a new subcategory that the CRTC recently created. It was actually shaped and put together by campus and community radio across Canada. It's a bit more complicated than some of the other categories here to figure out. It relies a bit more to figure out how the music was made instead of its style or history. So, for instance, what is experimental? It's not Frank Zappa. The official CRTC definition is the unconventional and non-traditional uses of instruments and sound equipment to create new sounds and an orchestration of these sounds. And they name check audio art, turntablism, musique actuelle, musique concrète, electroacoustique, sound ecology as well. So it can use clips and pieces, but generally it's used in a very novel way. They're not just samples or remixes of things. As fitting for experimental music, it's kind of a weird genre, weird subcategory, but it's one I personally love. And that's a wrap, actually. These categories can be a bit hard to remember. Every station should have somebody that can at least help you sort them out. Often your logs will just have this stuff built into it in some way if they're online. It's really important to be careful, even though it seems fairly inconsequential, because these aren't a very confusing thing, but they are a very important thing. And I will do a little pitch out for the National Campus Community Radio Association. They've done some great resources that other stations use and that your station probably uses too to clarify this confusing welter of CFRC codes. This is Cameron. See you next time.